Hello and welcome to another exciting episode from ET Auto. Today we are joined by Mr. Santosh Iyer, who's MD and CEO of Mercedes-Benz India, to talk to us about the newer evolvement of the customers as well as we talk about the EV ecosystem and the big debate on the ethanol. Welcome, Santosh.
Thanks, Dipanshu, for joining us. Pleasure always to meet you.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to understand from you, Santosh, about the growing luxury car market base. How do you see that our Indian car market base is growing specifically from tier 1 and tier 2 cities?
Yeah, so I think I keep saying that one is the absolute number growth. Even last quarter we grew by 10%, but overall, we have to go away from the numbers and look at the structure. If I look at the total automotive market in India also, 5 to 7 years back, we could see 80% of the cars sold in India was below 10 lakhs. Today, that's around 45%, and so the market is shifting up.
Right.
Premiumization is happening. Cars are becoming expensive due to regulation, as well as all the content being added into the car. So I think that's also to be seen along with the absolute growth. For luxury also, if you see, there has been a growth. It has crossed the 50,000 unit mark, but for us, average selling prices at some point used to be 60 lakhs, now close to 1 crore. There's a 40% change in the average selling prices. Right. So I think if you combine these two, the growth momentum is there. Contributing factors, of course, one is the demographics change that's happening in India, much more younger population, women buying, but also the tier 2, tier 3 markets. I think there is no difference in buying consumption. You know, the top end vehicles that we sell today in Indore is similar to what we sell. Maybe in Indore we sell much more than what we do in Delhi. Wow. In terms of because the customers are traveled, they have the money and the appetite, they understand cars. Right. So, the tire classification is only based on population, right, but it's not a income criteria when you say tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and that as marketeers we should not forget that the wealth in India is there in all pockets, and we have to go closer to the customer to get them to our fold.
Right. You mentioned about the premiumization of the luxury cars as well, and we have seen that a lot of special editions have been adding, not just Mercedes but other brands as well. What is this special edition is all about? Is it that because of the exclusivity for the luxury car buyers? Why this trend is happening, and does it continue in coming future?
So more so in the top end, individualization is one key trend. So they want to individualize the car, but on the other side, the special editions, 1 in 25, 1 in 30, 1 in 10, it's also a bit of not only the bragging right, but also these are collector's edition. Right. So if you have been thinking of a G-Wagon for many years, why don't I then get even more special? Right. And I think that's also important. It's not about the number of cars. That's why luxury, I keep saying, is just not the volume game, right? It is also what kind of cars, what makes, which customer profile we are able to cater to. So this is a very much growing trend, and people want more and more rare cars to be there in their portfolio, in their garage, and multiple. I have customers having 7 G-Wagons, but each one with a different history behind it as well.
Right. So how does it translate to Mercedes-Benz? At the average ticket price you have said from 60 lakhs to 1 crore. What is your high ticket price cars that are being sold?
So, for us, if you see this year, we said we will do 8 launches. All the 8 cars are in top end segment. We started the year with the EQS SUV, the Maybach, the Night Series, limited edition G, the GT Pro, today the CLE 53 AMG. So all of them in the top end segment, each one unique by itself. And the numbers speak as well. As I said, 20% growth in the top end segment. Right. More than 1/4 of the car now we sell are in the top end segment. So we are absolutely focused. I think for us the brand is the most valuable asset. So we are also trying to see how do we cater to that audience. The bigger set is also in the core segment, right? The GLE, the E-Class, the C-Class. There again, we have an absolutely strong hold with our customers. The products are also great. Where we today we are losing a bit is on the entry segment, because that again we have the products there, but they are a bit more expensive considering the value proposition that we offer. There are other options for customers. So I think the Indian luxury car market is growing in all 3 areas. Right. We participate much more in the top end and in the core. Other brands maybe are taking also advantage of the entry. So I think it's a much more healthy mix, and for us, the launch here again reaffirms our commitment much more again to the top end and to the core segment.
Mercedes-Benz has pioneered in launching EV vehicles at very different segments, and would like to understand from you, from your viewpoint, how has been the penetration for you? How do you see the luxury EV market moving forward? And what is the overall EV ecosystem for India? Are we at the right point to become the manufacturing base across the world?
So, first on the penetration side, if you remember during the EQS SUV launch in Hyderabad, it was around 4%. And then I was mentioning the 2 has become the 4. I can say that now the 4 has become the 8. So definitely we can see doubling of the penetration with more products coming in, portfolio, customer acceptance. So that's good. Can this be 16? Always yes. Okay, in terms of the penetration. But I think we should allow the customers to adopt. There needs to be one full cycle of ownership.
Right.
I don't think infrastructure is the biggest challenge. From our data, we see that 20% of customers use a public charging infra.
Right.
80% are still using only home or office charging. Right. Our cars have the best range available in their segment, real world range, I would say. So therefore, the anxiety is not there. What's going to happen or what should happen is more awareness. I think more players coming in, more awareness coming in that segment will help. And I think the acceptance is across the portfolio. The luxury segment has bigger penetration because of more options.
Right.
If you look at the total, maybe the luxury segment, you have in general 50, 60 cars and 10 odd EVs to be sold. Whereas if I look at the mass market, there will be 400 models and only 4 EVs sold. Right. So that's why, but with more models coming in, this is a matter of time. We believe in agnostic approach, give the options. We are coming up with the biggest ever launch in our product portfolio globally. Most of them are EVs, followed with a combustion engine as well. So we will offer it and then we wait for the market to decide. When you look at the manufacturing ecosystem, it's again a chicken and egg story, with a 4% penetration in mass market and an 8% in luxury, or 9%, I would say, growing. You cannot expect the moon, but capabilities exist. And I think it will catch up. It's a matter of time where it's not waiting for the manufacturing ecosystem to develop. I think that's already there and it's developing. It's a matter of time. As consumers accept more cars are produced, OEMs take the leap of faith and start launching cars, you will find the ecosystem also developing.
How are you viewing this particular year in terms of growth and coming next 2-3 years? What is your viewpoint, going from the point of view of the economy, that Indian economy is growing?
So, if you look at the macro 6% plus GDP growth rate, you look at the capital market data, you look at property prices, all of them show very positive trends towards growth. Having said that, luxury is also a sentiment-driven purchase. So, if you look at the tariff, the geopolitical topics, price increases because, we have increased price twice this year, third one coming in September now because of the exchange rate. And here the rupee has devalued by 12% in 1 year and we have hardly passed on 3% to the market. Right. So the 8% is still pending. Right. We are doing it in phases. Right. This will again have an impact on demand. So if I look at both the positives and maybe the price as well as the sentiment, I would say that a muted, I would say a flattish or a single digit growth should be possible. We have the festive season coming up. Last year was the best ever festive season. Hopefully even if we catch up to that level, I think it's a great result.
Right. How have you been managing about the rising commodity prices, as you mentioned about the price rises, and also about the devaluing rupee and the exchange rate? Because ultimately it will has to come up to the customers.
We have to be cognizant of the market and see what the market can absorb. Even the CLE 53 AMG, if you go to the website, in German list price is 89,000 euros. Now let's do the usual social media calculations, what they do for FTA. Take away the 20% tax, add the duties, add the GST. This car should be 200,000 euros, which is 2 crores. We have priced it at 1.35. Wow. So you have to do market realistic pricing. Maybe we are taking a hit on the margin potential that we may have in other markets, may not be in India. But I think we have to cater with the right balance. And therefore, that's what will be the name of the game even moving forward. A 12% decrease in exchange rate, ideally we should have increased prices by 12% by now. Right. But we are doing it in steps, looking at slow but sure, but we have to pass. There is no other way. On the other side, a lot of work happening on the cost side. Localization is one hedge against exchange rate, right? So we are increasing localization significantly. For me, the E-Class, the entire glasses we are making in India now, tires and many seats. So this will help us de-risk the exchange rate topic. But we can't get away from it and this will come in the cars.
What is the delta you are looking for the localization? How much percentage do you want to achieve? Any targets?
So, in general, we are more than 30% when it comes to localization of things. And here, it's not a target-based approach or percentage. Any commodity with the current volumes, if we can localize, we localize. Okay. That's where our objective is. We are not looking at what should it be, and if it means more and more we can localize, why not?
last question on the big debate happening around, and want to, kind of bust that myth with you, at least for luxury car market buyers, about the ethanol. What is the whole scenario about ethanol E20, and people are fearing that engines might tear off. What is your view? How luxury car Mercedes as per has been prepared for it?
So firstly, the government has been giving the heads up much early. So I would say that E10 was already there. Now it's going to 20%. So I think this was known by 2020 that this will come in. So we as a responsible OEM, from the time we transitioned to Euro 6 or BS6, we were the first automotive company in India to introduce a BS6 in 2018 itself. We ensured E20 compliance on all these cars. From last year, 24, we have been testing for E20. We have in ARAI, and all of these cars are certified. Let me go one more step. All the CBUs are also E20 certified. G63 AMGs to my CLE are all E20 compliant. Right. And I think that's a responsibility we have to the market to give it. Now the question comes, what happens to cars which are non-BS6? Right. So two ways to look at it. Firstly, I can confirm that they are materially compliant, which means there will be no effect on the engine damage, gasket rings, O-rings or anything. That I think we are capable there. We have not tested the performance bit, but there may be some variance. A calorific value of the fuel is different. But in general, I can make a statement that Mercedes-Benz customers don't need to get worried with the E20 compliance. We have ensured these cars are compatible and it can run. For the industry, most OEMs would have done the least common requirement based on regulatory requirement at that time. Maybe there are challenges and they need to address that with their own set of cars. But I think for us, we have ensured that we are compliant, we continue, and we also will not have any impact on the warranty of the car as long as the E20 fuel is used. If they use an adulterated fuel, for sure, we can't help there, but E20 fuel should not be a problem in Mercedes-Benz cars.
Santosh, would like to hear from the impact of E20 blending towards in the petrol, or in the overall ecosystem of Indian economy, from the farming and from everything. What is your view? Will it really impact that we are targeting of reducing the import bills?
So, the ethanol story, blending is a great story if you took it from one prism of saying we are self-sufficient in natural, I would say in one of the most important commodity that we import, oil. We are able to blend it, so it should technically not only help reducing cost, but help the Indian farmer also. The flip side, because this is nothing new, Brazil has also done it, but there are a lot of studies to say that these crops are all water intensive crops. It also takes away a lot of water from the soil. So in the long run, the impact on agriculture, economy, plus you are shifting the agrarian economy towards something there. But I leave it that to policy makers. I am sure they would have done a due diligence between the pros and cons. As automotive makers, we have to think there is a policy framework. The government has said they will go towards E20. Can we make our cars compliant? And I think if you start going too much, we have a limited scope. Because I am sure there is a much bigger agenda and a game plan which maybe the policy makers would have thought through it hopefully. What is, I would say, would have been ideal, would have been to give the choice to the customer. Let's say the E20 is cheaper, you keep the price of that fuel cheaper, and then you also continue with the current fuel and let the consumer decide a cheaper fuel option or an expensive one, and that way you are mitigating it. And that's more of a capitalist thinking, that you give the power to the consumer to decide. Here that's not an option given, so maybe that's something which I would say we could have thought through. But again, there is very complicated. If you run both the fuel, you need separate storage tanks, fueling stations, the supply chain mechanism. So it's a bit more complicated for the guys who are executing it than what we think idealistic world should be.
But I think the Brazil, which is the only country doing it, they have these options available to the customers the way you mentioned.
Yeah, that's what. If you do that way, then the customer can decide. And I think India is a price sensitive market. There will be a lot of consumers who would still decide to go for a cheaper fuel. As long as the car, the bike, the two-wheeler, everything is compliant, why not?
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks a lot. Always a pleasure. Thank you.